Welcome to the Artwork of You, the podcast where your life is the canvas and you are the masterpiece. I'm your host, Lori Guin, and together we'll explore creativity, self-awareness, mindset, goal strategy, and the importance of accountability so that you can paint your life's portrait with confidence and ease. Remember, in the gallery of life, you're not just a spectator, you are the art. So let's grab our brushes and start creating the masterpiece that is you. Hello, my friends. I am so glad that you are here with me today because today I want to talk about motivation. But before you roll your eyes or think I'm about to tell you that you need to push through with sheer willpower, I'm not. Because motivation, as most of us know, doesn't really last. We've all been there. Maybe you've gone to a seminar or tuned into a motivational talk and you left with that feeling like you could move mountains. And then a week later, well, the mountain's still there. We're often told that motivation alone isn't enough, that it's discipline and consistency that truly matter in the long run. And while that's true, today I want to talk about a different kind of motivation, the kind that's not fleeting or fueled by hype. Instead, it's motivation at a deeper level, the kind that's rooted in who you actually are and what moves you personally, the kind that you might not have even thought about as motivation before. And I want to talk about how you can use that to uncover lasting sources of drive that will go beyond the quick fix. So if you've ever felt like you needed a different approach to stay consistent and excited about your goals, this might be the missing piece. And so I want to start with identity-based motivation. This approach to motivation is about aligning your actions with who you are, or even more importantly, who you want to be. Because for a lot of people, what drives them isn't external rewards. It's that they see themselves as someone who does certain things or lives a certain way or shows up for certain values. For example, if you see yourself as a creative, you're probably motivated to do things that keep you in that zone, like brainstorming, creating new ideas, or building projects from scratch. It's not that someone told you to do these things, they just align with the way you see yourself. So to apply this to yourself, try asking, what kind of person do I want to be known as? Or what kind of qualities would I like to say define me? The answers to these questions can give you clues about actions and goals that feel motivating on a personal level because they're connected to who you are or to who you want to become. Here's another example. Say someone sees themselves as a leader. They'll feel motivated by taking charge, helping others grow, or bringing ideas to life because these actions fit the role they identify with. And for them, staying motivated means connecting what they're doing day to day to this bigger picture of, I am a leader. So if you feel like your motivation fades easily, consider this. Are your actions connected to an identity that's meaningful to you? And if not, maybe that's the missing piece. Because the more aligned your actions are with the way you see yourself, or again, want to see yourself, the more consistent that motivation can feel. Next up is something I'll refer to as meaningful obsessions. These aren't the typical, I'm passionate about this kind of interest. Meaningful obsessions go deeper. They're topics, causes, or ideas that keep you coming back no matter what. They feel personal, like a mission that you're naturally drawn to without anyone telling you it should matter. Think about it this way. What do you spend a little too much time researching, or maybe even talking about to the point where your friends roll their eyes? These aren't random interests. They're often a reflection of what you deeply care about, and that can be an incredible source of motivation. For example, I have somewhat of an obsession with personal development. I'm not just casually interested. I live it, I read about it, I talk about it, I've built a business around it, and I feel driven to keep pushing my efforts because it's a meaningful part of who I am. Another example could be someone who's obsessed with healthy ingredients in food. Also me, by the way. They're motivated to learn, grocery shop accordingly, and maybe even share these insights because they're genuinely consumed by the topic. So how do you find your meaningful obsessions? Well, try asking yourself, what would I want to be an expert in, even if no one was paying me for it? Or what topic do I naturally want to know more about, regardless of any benefit? Your answers can reveal the areas where you're not just interested, but actually driven on a deeper level. So think about how you can bring your meaningful obsessions into your work or your goals. Because when you're working on something that lines up with what you're naturally drawn to, motivation stops being something you have to force. It becomes a part of how you live because it just feels right. All right, now let's talk about impact and legacy motivation. And this isn't about being motivated by the rewards you can see right now. It's about staying motivated because of the impact you hope to make long term. For some people, knowing that what they're doing today might help others down the road or that it'll be remembered in some way, this can be a powerful motivator to them. Think of it like this: if you knew that the work you're doing right now would have a lasting effect, maybe on your family, your community, or even just one person, how would that affect your motivation? When we start thinking in terms of legacy, it's not about our ego or getting credit. It's about making decisions based on the value of what we're contributing, not just on what we're getting back. So, for example, someone who's motivated by impact might be more interested in creating work that's meaningful and memorable rather than simply aiming for quick results. They're the type of person who'd ask themselves, what will people remember about my contributions? Or how will this project help someone else? And now this might sound big picture or even a little intimidating, but it doesn't have to be. Legacy motivation can be really simple, such as wanting to be remembered as someone who always showed up, someone who kept their promises, or someone who was a steady support. Or it could mean contributing to something that has the potential to benefit others long after you're done with it. If this one resonates with you, think about how you can connect your daily tasks or goals with that bigger impact. Ask yourself, what would I like to be remembered for? Or how can what I'm doing now make a difference, even in a small way? When you start aligning what you do with the impact you want to have, motivation will feel more meaningful and steady because you're working towards something that truly matters to you. Now, let's talk about something a little more, I guess you could say, unconventional. And that's using challenges as a motivator. Most of us see constraints like limited time, resources, or unexpected obstacles as things that will slow us down. But for some people, these constraints actually spark motivation. They use limits as a reason to get creative, problem solve, and push harder instead of seeing them as roadblocks. Think about it. When you're facing a tight deadline or have fewer resources than you would like, you're forced to get innovative. There's no room for overthinking. You just have to find a way to make it work. This kind of motivation isn't about ideal circumstances. It's about leaning into the reality of the situation and then using it to your advantage. For example, a lot of entrepreneurs that I work with seem to work well under constraints. They might feel a burst of motivation when they have a strict deadline or they're limited by their budget because it forces them to make decisions quickly and resourcefully. In many cases, constraints push them to explore new options that they wouldn't have considered otherwise. So, if you find that you're more driven when facing limitation, here's a simple approach to bring this into your daily life. Try setting small constraints for yourself, like time limits for specific tasks, or cutting down on resources to see how you adapt. Or instead of getting frustrated by the limits that you're already facing, try reframing them. Ask, how can I turn this challenge into an opportunity to get creative? Because when you start viewing challenges as motivation, you're no longer waiting for ideal circumstances to get motivated. Instead, you're motivated by the fact that you have to adapt to find a way forward and make the most of what you got. And that can be a powerful way to keep moving, even when things aren't perfect. So now let's talk about something simple but surprisingly effective, and that's micro rewards. Unlike big rewards, which you might only reach after you finish a major project or a major goal, micro rewards are small, immediate incentives that help keep motivation going on a daily basis. It's an approach that works well for people who thrive on regular feedback and they need small wins to stay on track. And here's how it works. Instead of waiting for that one big payoff, you break things down and reward yourself for small steps along the way. It could be as simple as finishing a focused 30-minute block of time and then taking a 5-minute break, or wrapping up a difficult task and then rewarding yourself with, say, a cup of coffee or a quick walk outside. It sounds basic, I know, but these little rewards can really make a difference in maintaining steady motivation. For example, after checking off a certain amount of goals on your to-do list for the day, you might want to give yourself 10 minutes to scroll social media. Tiny rewards like these don't just make you feel good, they reinforce the behavior you're building, making it more likely that you'll stick with it. To try this out, think about what you naturally enjoy or what small treat feels like a reward to you. Then set up a few micro rewards for the tasks that you're working on. The key here is to make the rewards small and quick so that you don't derail your focus, but it gives you just enough of a boost to stay motivated. And they work because they tap into the brain's natural craving for feedback. Every time you complete a small goal and reward yourself, you're giving yourself a reason to keep going. And finally, let's look at another unique motivator that might resonate with some of you, and that's the supporter and seeker motivation. This is about identifying if you're more motivated by helping and supporting others, or if you're driven by the need to explore, learn, and seek out new experiences. So let's start with the supporter. Some people feel their strongest motivation when they're playing a role that serves other, whether it's helping a friend, mentoring a colleague, or contributing to a team. Supporters are motivated by feeling like they're making a difference for someone else. They find meaning in being dependable, uplifting, and providing guidance. That's what keeps them motivated. And on the other hand, we have the seekers, and seekers are motivated by the pursuit of knowledge and new experiences and personal growth. They're excited by the idea of exploring new territory, so to speak, like trying new things, learning new things, pushing beyond their boundaries. Seekers don't necessarily need someone to depend on them. Instead, they're driven by their own curiosity and the need to discover something new. If you resonate more with the supporter role, you might find that setting goals connected to helping others keeps you motivated. Whether it's taking on a mentoring role or collaborating on a project, or even just being there for a friend, you'll find purpose in the contributions that you're making. And if you're a seeker, try setting goals that challenge you to learn or experience something you haven't done before. That might mean signing up for a class, exploring a new field, or even just setting time aside to read about something that maybe is outside of your comfort zone. The bottom line is that knowing whether you're a supporter or a seeker, or maybe even a mix of both, can help you structure your goals around what naturally motivates you. When you connect your goals, again, with what interests you most deeply, motivation becomes less about pushing yourself and more about working in a way that really feels fulfilling. And so to wrap it up, I would say the main takeaway here is that motivation isn't a one size fits all deal. It's personal, and it's often tied to things that are deeper and more lasting than a quick burst of enthusiasm. When you start thinking about what truly drives you, whether it's how you see yourself, what you're naturally drawn to, or even the impact you want to have, you're working with motivators that have staying power. So here's my challenge for you. Pick one of these motivators that resonates most with you and try it out this week. If identity-based motivation clicked, try aligning a goal with the person you want to become. If you're drawn to the idea of meaningful obsessions, see if there's a way to bring one of those into your goals. Whatever it is, experiment and see how it feels. Or if you're drawn to more than one of these motivators, pick several that truly resonate with you and create a goal that aligns with all of them. Thanks for tuning in. And if you would like help determining your intrinsic motivator and how to align it with your goals, I can help. Reach out or go to my website, www.theartworkofyou.com, to book a strategy call with me. That's a wrap for today, my friends. Thank you for sharing your time with me. And remember to show up in your life like the masterpiece you are, because you are the artwork. Please subscribe and leave a 5-star review. Have a fabulous day.